Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I just wanted to mention that it is Easter when I'm filming this, and if you can hear people yelling, there is a little Easter egg hunt happening right outside of my window, so if you hear any kids playing or anything, that's just what that is. I also wanted to mention that this video is in collaboration with Paula from ABeautyGuruMadeMeDoIt. I will have all of her information in the description box. She is such a joy to watch. I love watching her painting content. She also did a collaborative series last year called How Many Years, where she looked at how many years worth of makeup she owned. And it was just a way to kind of analyze her collection and really take into account just how long it takes to use up makeup, which I thought was really interesting and a really cool way to look at it. We are both going to be doing a Shop My Stash type of video, and in the video we'll be pulling out our 5 favorite palettes for spring. But other than that, the way I do my Shop My Stash videos is going to be the same. I'm going to talk about the products I used up, some products I brought in. We'll look at this drawer that I was working with in the month of March, talk about what I'm putting back, what I played with last month and my thoughts, and then we'll go into my makeup drawers and pull out all new products to play with for the month of April. So let's talk about the products I used up. I used up 4 products. One of them is so exciting. It's the ABH Brow Pomade in the shade Taupe. I talked about this in my very recent empties video and how this has taken me like 5 years to use up. Excellent value for your money. I have some other pencils and stuff I'm going to go through first before diving into another long-term brow product again. Not sure if I'll buy this one or if I'll try like a more affordable pomade. Really not sure where I'll go with that. I might just use eyeshadows and powders that I have in my collection already. I also finished up 2 lip products. I finished the ColourPop Just a Tint in the shade Strand, and I also finished a mini of this Tower 28 lip gloss in the shade Fire. If you can see, it had a little bit of like an orangey undertone. And I also finished this Catrice Fresh It Up primer, and I did cut it open to make sure I got everything out. Now let's talk quickly about what I brought in. I did make a ColourPop order, and I saw that they sell minis of their Pretty Fresh foundation. I got the shade Light 7W. It is a tiny bit too deep, a little bit too yellow for me, but this is such a light coverage foundation that I still feel like I could make it work. I am going to test it out this month, so I'm gonna keep this in my drawer. And I also brought in 3 new palettes. 2 of them are from ColourPop, and the other one is the It's Freakin' Bats palette. I'm so excited that this finally came in the mail. I've been playing with it a lot and really enjoying it. I will have a 3 looks 1 palette video coming up shortly, so this is also gonna stay in my drawer. And then I purchased the She's All That palette, which has some really gorgeous pinks and reds and burgundies, and then the new Limoncello palette, which is just stunning. If you can see the gold details and like the texture, it's a very nice weighted product, and I got it on the release day, but then I purchased it whenever it was 25% off on top of that, so I got this for like $13.50. Gorgeous palette. I definitely do want to play with both of these, but I'll put them back because like I said, I am pulling out some spring palettes and my Pan Those Eyeshadows palettes, and I don't want to have too many palettes in my drawer at once. And I did also purchase this Milani lip plumper. What's it called? It's the Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper, and this is in the shade Luminoso. It does have a little bit of glitter in it, but it's nothing too noticeable on the lips, and it definitely doesn't feel like there's glitter in the formula. I purchased this because I hear this is a really good dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Bath, and I am going to test it out a little bit this month. I've used it a couple times. I think it's very comparable, but I do want to test it a little bit more to make sure it's a real dupe. Now let's talk about the products that I was playing with last month and what I'll be putting back. A lot of these products here are Project Pan items, but a couple of them aren't. For example, this Too Faced Primed and Peachy Primer. I actually really like this. I'm loving it for the warmer months when I'm getting a little bit more oily, and I'll probably keep it for the majority of the spring and summer. I have these 2 lipsticks here. The first one is from Urban Decay. It's in the shade Back Top. It's kind of like a light purpley color. This is pretty. I think I reached for it at least once. I am going to put it back. And then I also recently purchased the Melt Cosmetics lipstick in the shade Old Rose. This one is definitely deeper. I don't think I reached for this just because every time I tried to put it on with whatever makeup I was wearing, it just seemed a little bit too dark. I think this is more appropriate for the fall and winter, so I'm going to put it back. So I know I'm keeping the It's Freakin' Bats palette and this ColourPop mini and this Luminoso lip gloss. This is kind of the rotation section of the drawer. One of the shades from this Naked 3 palette is in my Pan Those Eyeshadows, so I'm going to hold on to this. As for the Tarte palette and the Give Me Glow palette, I just pulled these in to play with them a little bit more. They are really great for this time of year. I love these grungy greens to go with lighter pops of color, and I love how light these shimmery shades are. I think they just always add something special to the look. I'm going to put these back for now, but one of them is probably going to come back out when I choose my 5 spring palettes. I'm sure you can guess which one. I'm going to put back the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk palette. I did use it a couple times. I reached for it, and I'm ready to put it back and play with some other shadows. And I also have a shade from this Too Faced palette in my Pan Those Eyeshadows, and I'm also trying to unofficially pan this cream matte shade here that I'm using to set my eyeshadow primer. I don't have a lot left, and so maybe I'll have finished an eyeshadow next month. I did reach for this highlighter from Laura Geller and this Milani Luminoso blush a little bit, so I'm going to put these back. I did reach for this hot pink lip pencil in the shade Disco Rage by NYX. I did wear it in a video a couple weeks ago. Beautiful bright color. We'll definitely be pulling it out to wear more in the spring and summer. As for this concealer palette from NYX, I did try to use it a couple times. I do find that it's a little bit dry, so I'm going to put it back for now, focus on the concealers that I like, and then maybe I'll bring it back out and see if there's another way to wear it, or I don't know. I'm not really sure about this one. I'm gonna be honest with you, I only reached for this new foundation from IT Cosmetics twice. I did like the texture. I think the color was a good match for me. I am just gonna put it back and focus on panning my other foundation right now. And this IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation powder is in the lightest shade. I got it for free during a promotion on Ulta's website when I purchased that IT Cosmetics foundation. And this is actually too dark for me. So I'm gonna put it back and maybe pull it out in the warmer months whenever I do have some more color, or I might have to just find a way to repurpose it. I'm not really sure, but yeah, this is going back. The foundation that I'm trying to finish is this Urban Decay Naked Skin foundation, so I'm gonna keep this. And I'm currently using up the e.l.f. and Morphe setting sprays. Those are more appropriate for the colder months because they're not really great for oil control. I use the Morphe one to wet my eyeshadows, and I use the e.l.f. one to set my face. And once those two are gone, I will focus on De-Slick from Urban Decay. Everything else is a project pan or a staple product that I use all the time. So let's move over to my makeup drawers and pull out all new things to play with for the month of April. All right, so my first couple of drawers are palettes. This is the part of the video where I'm going to be pulling out my 5 spring palettes. 2 of them are in this drawer. Obviously, I'm pulling back out the Tarte just because this has such a beautiful array of bright, vibrant colors. They're lighter. I feel like they're lighter in nature, so I like to pop them on top of other shades just to brighten the look a little bit and add a little bit of interest. And I really do like this palette a lot. I wish it wasn't discontinued. And the other palette I want to pull out is another one of all bright shimmers. This is the Flower Beauty Jungle Lights. These colors really remind me of spring. This mauve shade, the greens, the golds, just a really beautiful formula and a really great, nice choice of colors. The second drawer is also palettes, and I think the springiest palette from this drawer that I would like to pull is one of my newer ones. It's the Limoncello. I mean, the packaging is definitely very spring and summery, but the colors are really beautiful as well, especially with this pop of blue and the green. One of the reasons I purchased this palette is because I don't own the Urban Decay Honey palette, and I think a lot of these shades are very, very similar, except for the green and the blue, but if you cover it up. One surprising shade that I ended up really liking is this Easy Peasy color. This has kind of like a shift to it. It doesn't look like anything special in the palette. And if you can see in the lighting, it kind of has like an orangey gold base, and then it has a beautiful green reflect. Stunning. From the couple of times I've used it, it does seem to be pretty similar to the other ColourPop formulas that I have, and I do have a whole drawer full of just ColourPop palettes. So obviously I'm a fan. I'm just really excited to play with this some more, and I do think these colors are very summery, especially with these pops of yellows and golds. But that's everything I'm going to pull from this drawer. Now let's go to my third palette drawer, and this has my last 2 springy palettes in here. Obviously I need to pull out Strobe's Shroud Cosmetics Creepy Cute. This is an all matte pastel palette. It does have a black and a gray in there, but these brighter colors are just fantastic in the crease or on the lower lash line, just to add a really beautiful pop of color to the look. I also like to use one of these mattes on the lid and then put a sparklier version or a topper shade on top, and it just creates a really, really beautiful combination. The formula is great. I'm really excited to play with this more, so definitely pulling this out for spring. And the last one is the Magic Mini from Juvia's Place. I do have a shade in here that I randomly selected for my Pan Those eyeshadows, so it is going to be kind of a dual purpose palette for this drawer this month. And maybe with these darker blues and grays and greens in the bottom, you wouldn't think this to be the most spring appropriate palette. But these colors, these bright colors and these light shimmers are just beautiful, and every look I create with it does tend to pull more light. Maybe just because I don't pull for the darker shades too much unless I'm just putting them a little bit maybe on the outer corner to add some depth. I did create a look with this with my Juvia's Place eyeshadow bingo video a couple months ago, and I pulled all shimmers and I ended up getting such a beautiful springy look. I really liked it. And yeah, this is definitely a perfect spring palette. I might pull for some deeper greens from the Juicy Olive again, just because I do really like putting lighter colors with maybe something that isn't just a dark brown, but I'm not going to pull it out specifically for that because I'm already pulling a lot of palettes. And the last eyeshadow related drawer is, you know, some palettes, some singles, extra containers, and then like mascaras and primers and brow stuff, like extra little things. I am going to pull out one of the brow pencils. This is from NYX. It's in the shade Ash Brown, and I'm just going to use this to fill in my tails a little bit of my eyebrows. It is a bit dark for me to use like all over really heavily, but since I used up the pomade, I don't really have anything like that, so I'll use a lighter powder or even, you know, the shade Taupe or something like that. Use some other brow products and, you know, try to work through some of the ones that I already had, because I've had some of these NYX pencils for quite a few years. I think I bought this pencil, this shade specifically, back in 2018. I don't think I need to grab anything else though. I might grab one of the eyeliners if I want something different from the CoverGirl one that I have, but I don't need to pull those out necessarily. So I am trying to pan one of my Berlin Girl Glow highlighters, and that one definitely has a slightly more cool tone. It has a really interesting reflect to it, and if I'm going for a really warm look, I don't think that it really goes the best. So I want to pull something that's maybe a little bit more gold champagne or neutral, and I would like to pull out this Mini Cover Effects highlighter in the shade Moonlight. It is a more natural highlighter, so I do have it on the back of my hand, but I'm not really sure if it's going to pick up super easily with the camera. It's kind of just got like a really natural glisten. And I've used this a ton already in the past. I would like to maybe try to hit pan on it and maybe have this be the next highlighter that I try to finish after I finish the Berlin Girl Glow one. Now let's move on to my blushes and bronzers. I do have a bronzer and a blush that I am trying to pan in my project pan, so I don't need to pull a ton out right now. I would like to play with this new Hourglass blush in the shade Mood Exposure. This was a birthday present from my sister-in-law, and I do think I used it once. Just like a beautiful like mauvey brown color. Has a little bit of a luminosity to it, but it's definitely not as blinding or reflective as the other Hourglass blush that I'm using. I don't think this one has like their strobe light infused. I think it's just their ambient light. But yeah, it's one of my newer blushes. I would like to play with it, and I do think it's a really great color for spring. It's a more neutral kind of color, and I think it'll go nicely with my more colorful eyeshadow looks. I don't need to pull any bronzers out right now. I do want to focus on the one that I have, and I do have the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow Bronzer in my drawer right now, so if I do, you know, feel like I need to switch it up, I can just switch to that one. Now for foundations and other complexion products. I don't really feel like I need to pull a ton out. I would like to test out this Peach Perfect powder from Too Faced just because I'm already using the primer, and I would like to maybe wear them together and see if it does an even better job at oil control. I'm sure these two together do even better than just the primer or the powder on their own. And I am almost finished with the Too Faced Ethereal powder that I'm currently trying to finish, so this will be my next one that I play with. I really would like to focus on my foundation and concealer in my project pan, so I'm not going to pull anything extra out this month. And for setting sprays, I am working on the e.l.f. and Morphe ones, and once those are gone, then I will work on the D-Slick, which I talked about earlier. So if you've been watching my videos for the past month or so, maybe you'll have noticed that I've been wearing more neutral or barely there eyeshadow looks, and then a bright liquid lip or a pop-up color on the lip, just because I wanted to reach for some of these shades a little bit more. And I think I kind of just grab for whatever goes with my look. I don't really plan around the lip. I usually plan my look and then add whatever lip I think would go best with it. I would like to pull out this Nabla Sweet Gravity liquid lipstick. This is a gorgeous peachy deeper color. I really like this color. I like it during multiple times of the year, but I think during the springtime this is going to be really gorgeous. And I also would like to pull out the NYX lip oil. I have used this so much over the years, it's still not done, and I would like to just work it out. It's getting a little bit older. And when I'm going for more like grungy spring looks, I do like to pull the Pillow Talk medium shade out. It is a deeper version than the original Pillow Talk shade, and it still has a rosiness to it with a little bit of brown, and I think it goes really nicely with some of the greens and golds that I've been playing with. Now let's move on to my makeup drawer and see everything all together. Okay, so those are all the products I'm playing around this month. I'm super excited to be playing these more springy palettes. In my future videos, I will try to put in the description box what lip color and what palettes I'm using to create my look. What are some of your favorite spring palettes? I'd be really interested to know if you have any specific ones that you like to pull out, or even just individual shades or singles or color stories that you like for this time of year. Once again, I'd love for you to go over to Paula's channel and tell her hello, and I'm excited to see what palettes she wants to pull out for spring, because I think she does have a bigger collection than I do, so I think choosing 5 palettes is going to be more difficult for her. But in the meantime, that's everything I have. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!